So I'm so excited to be chatting with you. I've met you a couple times at the HCAs and different awards, and it's nice to talk to you about the show more closely because you're my favorite character, which is saying a
Oh,
lot because
oh, oh,
I love everybody on this show. Like, oh, I just love the show.
oh,
Uh,
thank
but what's it been like seeing Abbott like kind of just grow and get better and better with every season?
It's incredible. The 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 audience, or I should say the fans, they let us know every day how much they love the show. And not just online, when I'm out walking around in LA, if I'm stopping at the coffee bean to grab a coffee or whatever, people just come up to me and tell me how much they love the show, how much they love all the characters, the writing. And a lot of times I'll get teachers that will stop me and tell me, oh my God, this is so real. And thank you for shining a light on what we do. And that's kind of to me, the greatest compliment of all.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. I just love Mr. Johnson. He is so funny. I would
Well,
ask, like, how do you come in with one line and just make it count? Like, you always make me laugh, and you have to be like memorable and like get out of the way at the same time. How do you do
well,
that?
a lot of it has to do with just such great writing. And I am always trying to find something new, not to make this guy into a caricature or a cartoon, to make him a real, three-dimensional human being that speaks his mind. He doesn't care about whose feelings get hurt but and sometimes he says some pretty strange things, but he's willing to save them. He's willing to put it out, and he'll put his life on the line to defend what it is he's saying. He really believes there are lizard people under the airport in Denver.
I want to ask you, how do you keep track of all his different stories and different like past lives? Like, I think he was a pilot in the 70s. Is that his latest thing that I think?
Yeah, he was a pilot, and we didn't tell you what he flew, or where he flew to. You know, um, it's once again, it's great writing, and I hang on to the scripts because sometimes I have to go back and see if there's a reference earlier about something that I'm talking about now, because sometimes it'll come at you so fast. You're like, wait a minute, did I really say that? So I'll keep the scripts around just, throughout the season just to see if I can connect the dots.
That's amazing. That makes sense too, because there's so many, he throws a lot at you and then kind of disappears.
And I have
Um,
to remember that he did it. Oh yeah, I was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, uh, and once again, it's just a great writing.
yeah, it is. Also great performance though. Don't undersell yourself.
Thank you.
I also love that he is very intuitive with people, like that William R. Abbott that they tried to get to come in, and he's like, he's a nut shop. He like
Yeah.
knew that he was crazy.
Yeah.
He
Is
called it.
that
He said something like real is real, real knows
that
real. And I wanted
real
to know, like,
recognize
what did he mean by that?
real recognize real? Well,
Yeah.
it kind of made me a nut job too, because he believes that the moon is a surveillance spaceship, and that and that the Earth is flat. Willard Abbott, you know, uh, he wasn't a racist, but he was a conspiracy theorist like me. So we were part of the same club. So we had a lot of fun with that. That was a great day to shoot. We were shooting outside in front of the facade of the school, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's all I'll say, because a lot of things happened that day, especially you know.
Um, do you try to match the mischievousness of the kids in your character? Because I feel like you are almost like one of the kids sometimes. Like there's this little scene where one of the teachers misses the basketball in the teachers versus students basketball game. And Mr.
Yeah,
Johnson like laughs with one of the kids and like points. And I feel
yeah.
like at times you kind of take on like you're kind of have that childlike quality.
I'm glad you said that, because a part of me, that's just a part of who I am.
Yeah.
I love to have fun. I can't stand it if it's too, stiff, and I like to enjoy myself, and part of that is kind of being childlike, and that's in acting. classes and improv classes. Those things I've always, used. But the children, when they're there, they all want to come up and talk to Mr. Johnson. They wave at him, and then the parents, when we rap, they make sure that we get a picture. And I just try to encourage them. And I think I feed off of their energy. Well, the one thing about them, they want to get it right. And I see their energy. And I'm always out, whoever's in the scene with me, I'm like, Chris, look at these kids, man. Don't you wish you could just have that freedom and that energy that they have? And Chris usually does, he's, but we look at them and then we just kind of feed off of them. And that kind of, it happens.
There's such a great kids cast too. Like they are just as good as you guys, which I think just
Yeah,
shows how this cast
yeah,
just really works together really
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um what do you think Mr. Johnson's downtime is like? Because do you think he's lonely? Because he showed up at that panel. Well, also he was in that panel later on, but he also seemed to want to hang out with Melissa after school when she was like looking when she really wanted to hang out with Jacob. But
Right.
yeah, do
He'd
you
been,
think he's lonely?
he'd been having a bad week that week. Both of his buddies had kind of turned on him. And with Melissa, he thought she was sincere. And so, but yeah, he, I don't know if he gets lonely. I think he has so many things that he does when he's away from school. Um, and he spends a lot of time at the school too. Mr. Johnson really wants this school to be the best school it can be for these children. And so I think he spends a lot of time there. He would like to hang out. He would like to hang out with the teachers, but I think he thinks they're beneath him. You know, you know, I think he thinks, they can't hang, they can't hang with me, And so I almost spilled the beans about some stuff. That's where you guys are. So you'll see in some upcoming episodes of The Real Mr. Johnson,
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so
the
excited.
couple, you're not going to get a lot. I think next season you'll see more. But in these next few episodes, you're going to see a different Mr. Johnson. He just, he loves life. He's been all over the world. He loves to have fun, and he loves poking it at the teachers of Abbott Elementary. He loves giving it to them.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, one last question. What is in his newsletters that like everybody was so profoundly like moved by this? Like Jacob was upset, like
He speaks the truth about his experiences.
yeah.
He's been to Iran. Before, probably when the Shah, I don't know if you remember the Shah of Iran, you're pretty young. The Shah was a guy who ran it. I won't say he was a dictator because that gets into politics and everything. But he's been all over the world. He studied cleaning in Iran. He studied cooking in Italy. He's been all over the world. And he doesn't mind letting you know that he knows a lot about a lot.
I love that whole thing. And they were saying that, oh, he only sends out one newsletter a quarter and it's very important. Like
Very
just like
informative about
yeah.
the Iranian culture before the movie 300. Their depiction in the movie 300. He's just he doesn't mind letting you know he's been places.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just as true to your character, he, gets in and gets out. Here's the information. I'll be back like later. It's, not gonna
He,
waste your time.
he was upset with Jacob that day.
He was upset.
Told him he hope he catches a new T800 or whatever, and I have to go back and look at, okay, what's a T800? Oh, that was from Terminator. Okay. So to make sure, so the reference when I'm delivering the line, I'm really knowing what the reference is, so it gives me a little more specificity, so I can really, really, turn the knife in there.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being my favorite character on the
Thank
show.
you so
And
much.
yeah,
Thank
I
you
just
so
love the
much.
show so much. So
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me, Megan.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay,
Have
you
a
take
wonderful day. Have a great weekend.
you too. Okay, bye
Thank
bye.